Once I do the intro, who wants to be the first one to speak? The low man on the totem pole? Okay, Smacky's first. All right.
Aha! I was gonna volunteer anyway, bitch.
He said 5 minutes. He
been
said,
voluntold.
5 minutes, I take a nap.
Voluntold,
I'm
bitch.
sleeping the rest of the podcast.
All right. You ready? Okay, here we go.
Are we live?
I had to make sure I was going to say something, but I looked at
I'm the
screen.
BBG.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Two Puck. Fucking God dang it.
Did you say, we say
Pumpkins and
two
a pumpkin.
puckers? Thank you for calling two puckers in one bowl. Thank you.
2 blumpkins and a pumpkin.
Two rednecks and an asshole.
I better be that
Oh.
pumpkin.
God dang.
Take 2.
You want me to write you a script?
Might be easier.
This is one podcast, 2 couples.
And a cup.
Don't confuse me. Whew, okay. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Two Couples, One Podcast. And today we are talking about spooky, ooky, skeleton things, like all kinds of weird shiz. So we're going to get things kicking. Right now, we got Smacky, we got Barbie, we got Meli, we got me. And I didn't
You
forget.
just about forgot my name. You're
Oh,
like, we got
God.
Meli.
2 videos in a
Shows
row.
in a row.
2 videos in a row. I don't even know who my wife is. Life, forget it. You know what? Story of my life. Smacky, give us. Let's get cranked out here. What is this spooky ooky ooky dooky doozy stuff?
My spooky, scary skeleton thing is werewolves. So, through my research, and unlike the other 3 co-hosts here who do legit research, I've watched about 17 videos on my topic. So,
That is research.
yeah. One was by PBS, so that's got to count for something. What I did find is that there is no one source of, like, one society has a key moment where werewolves come about. It goes all the way back to ancient Greece and before that. And then, there's a bunch of different stories throughout Viking culture, Native Americans, ancient Greece. Actually, Apollo was known to change forms into a wolf at times. A lot of the videos come down to they're not sure if it's true, like transformation into a man wolf or into a full wolf, or if it's just taking the skins and using the skins on your head and, taking the spirit. For the Vikings, it would be taking the spirit into battle or using the spirit on a hunt. Um, and that's what Apollo did too, is him and a group of worshippers would go on a hunt together, and they would say they would transform into wolves. Um, they also have closely associated it to the stories of vampires, and say that a lot of times the wolves and vampires are almost comorbid, um, like a yin and yang. But there is no one story or one society where werewolves come from. And then to jump into modern times in the US, it was a lot of Hollywood takes on it were originally, the Native Americans and the beasts, that they were quote unquote, and savages. And then women were never allowed to play werewolves, um, but they would kill their husband. And then it comes down to a lot of the stories that they would originally came from. They weren't sure if it was truly werewolves or if it was just serial killers that they didn't have explanations for. But a fun fact is the documents that they used for Salem witch trials was actually documents written to put werewolves on trial in Europe.
Really?
So
That's
there's your fun
interesting.
facts about werewolves.
I've always been personally
Not fair that women
fascinated
don't get to play.
with werewolves.
Do we get to ask questions?
You can. I might not have the answer.
What does the moon cycle have to do with it?
Nothing. That was something Hollywood did.
Ah. So the
That
moon
didn't-
cycle.
That
Nothing?
didn't have any portrayal in the original writings until it came into Hollywood, and that's like the whole half man, half wolf thing. Didn't have anything. Holy heck! There's a cow on the screen. Sorry, I just realized there's a cow in my background.
That's not a werewolf. That's a cow.
Right there in
Moo.
the corner.
Yeah, it's a
He's
floating
flying
cow.
too.
He's being
Yep.
he's being pulled up by the aliens.
By the tornado. But yeah, no, there was never a true moon cycle that got written in and into stories when it came to the States, and in some of the very original movies. But they did say that with some of the diseases that they thought made people go crazy, that it would take about a moon cycle for everything to kick through. That like period of time. So maybe that's where it started coming into it. But I was hoping to find cooler things. But the fact that it's linked to Apollo has a personal meaning to me. So I kind of like that.
I love Greek mythology.
Yeah.
So are they lichens? Oh, go ahead.
That's how I've always thought of as them, but they didn't specify in any of the documentaries I watched. That the lichen word is actually derived from a longer word.
Lycanthropy?
That close, probably. I don't remember, but it sounds right. See, she did research on both of our projects. Look at her go.
I love the unknown.
So
I'm
There is
creepy and weird.
difference between werewolves and lichens, by the way.
yeah, lichens are bad wives. And
No,
werewolves are-
lycanthropy is like the disease of the werewolf.
Yeah.
But there's skinwalkers that are different than werewolves.
But they also said that when you get bit, like getting bit to become a werewolf, that wasn't a thing until modern books and movies as well.
Makes sense. I mean, because it's almost like the whole vampire thing. Like when you get bit by a vampire, if they don't drain your blood, you become a vampire. And then you have the you know, I don't know. I've always been fascinated. When Melissa and I have talked, she's always wanted to be a vampire. I've always wanted to be, the werewolf. And so I've always been really fascinated with it. I've looked into it, a lot of it myself, and the lichens. And I've always thought about the skinwalkers, as Melissa was talking about the skinwalkers. And I've thought about, well, what if that's what everybody's thinking about is a skinwalker was a werewolf? But, it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that me personally, it's my personal opinion. I think the werewolf is a badass. Even though the vampires and Dracula and all that stuff, which I think we're gonna be somebody's talking about vampires. No,
I would never want to be a
all of us, yeah.
werewolf. No.
I would not. I wouldn't want to be one because of because you said about the moon cycle. That'd be like I wouldn't want to be a woman because I don't want the monthly cycle. So that to me makes me think,
I give you
man, that'd
5
be
reasons.
pain in the butt.
I'll give you
Nut Lover's got 5 reasons to what?
5 reasons I would never want to be a werewolf. 1, fleas. 2, the smell. 3, the slave to the moon. 4, you can't be a woman. And 5, oh my God, your body transforms. Every bone in your body breaks and retransforms.
But that's
Ow.
only in
No,
Hollywood.
thank you. No,
in
thank
the
you.
In the original stories, you didn't. Your bones.
It was just like a
didn't
magic
break.
transformation.
They don't. There are stories where you would swim into a lake, and this is a lot of the natives and a lot of like ancient Rome and all that, all like pre book. The stories go that you go out and sometimes you had to do um you would swim into your lake or and then you were essentially sacrificed to be a beast of the night. And if you could abstain from human flesh for a period of time, then you could come back and be welcomed back into society. And that period of time could be up to 7 years. And that, yeah. So it'd start out at like 30 days, but it could go up to like 7 years if you ate human flesh. You would never come back. But if you didn't, there was a period of time where you'd come back and you'd be the same age.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. Yeah,
So, but I've always
that's a no.
too been obsessed with werewolves ever since a young age to the point where I have a birthmark on my back and it's a patch of hair, and I've always called it my werewolf patch. Like,
He does.
I love the movie Underworld. Those are some really cool looking werewolves and lichens.
to me, that's the best betrayal on video.
Or
out there.
trail.
You and your grammar police can take your flying cow somewhere else.
I'm the same. I'll correct somebody in a text message.
I think
don't like
Fine.
it.
I think that's where my love of werewolves came from was from
Was that
Underworld.
movie?
Yeah,
That
that whole series
is a
was
good one.
freaking badass.
Hey, so I did ghosties. Because I have my own beliefs on spirits and ghosts and all that stuff. So I looked it up, and then I had this really great website, and then I lost it. So then I looked it up again for the information. So I was like curious as to where the theory, I guess, that ghosts exist started, and the ancient origins are actually from all the way back in like the Mesopotamian area. Mesopotamian, I can say that word. Era.
Jamie,
So
can you clip that, please?
Yeah, she's not pronouncing anything right. I just want to point
Shut
this
up.
out. I'm not going to correct her. I'm just going to point out
This
that
one
she's not
time
doing
at
it right.
Camp of Band. Go ahead.
Leave me alone. And so they have textual evidence from ancient Mesopotamia with a story where the ghost of Enkidu, I think that's how you pronounce it, appears to warn Gilgamesh of the underworld. So that's kind of cool and creepy at the same time. And from ancient Greece and Rome, the Greeks and Romans had well documented ghost stories, often involving restless spirits returning for revenge or to warn of the living, or to warn the living, not of the living. So, stories of like a haunted house with a ghostly apparition of an old man rattling chains, kind of like a Christmas carol. And then the Roman writer, I'm going to F this up, Apuleius, wrote of the lemurs, which were spirits believed to be a type of demon. Which, when I hear lemurs, well, I might be pronouncing it wrong. I think of an animal. So, and then you've got the medieval and early modern evolution. So medieval Europe, ghosts were often seen as unfinished. They have unfinished business. I am messing up all my words tonight. Or as figures of spiritual guidance. Yeah, shut up. So a lot of those stories from early and modern evolution, they were involving ghosts that needed prayers to find peace, or they were a common feature in moralistic tales. But the first recorded poltergeist, or noisy ghost, was reported in Germany in 856 CE. So that's interesting. And then during the Victorian era, the period saw a solidification of the traditional ghost story in literature. So interest in spiritualism and the paranormal led to the belief that one could communicate with the dead. Authors of this time helped to shape modern ghost stories, often incorporating elements from the growing field of psychology. So, of course, today, the concept of ghosts is a mixed bag of all of those historical beliefs, often described as spirits of the deceased tied to a place or a person. Some see ghosts as a spiritual or supernatural phenomenon. Others view them as a way to process unexplained events. Um, the idea of ghosts often reinforces cultural themes ranging from horror to comedy and continues to be a popular subject in literature, film, and folklore, um, which I definitely like fall more from like the Victorian area of believing that like the spirits are they're not just for unfinished business but as spiritual guidance. And I thought it was really cool to see where everything comes from because I definitely believe that there are spirits on earth that linger. Not necessarily all bad. I would say that some, like, I've always believed that, like, the whole guardian angel thing is also like ghosts that have, or people from our family that has passed on. And so I
Right.
like to believe, since I was a little kid, that those are the ghosts that are following us around. And so I've been very fascinated by it since I was like 3, because I spoke to my dead grandmother when I was 3, apparently. So I definitely believe that it's a thing.
Mhm. It's definitely a thing that is true, especially with the youth, yeah, at the younger age of children per se. Our daughter had that ability, and
She still
to the
does.
still to this day has that ability to speak to the dead.
No, when she
So
speaks them, she sees them though.
sees them, smells them, talks to them. She knows when their presence is. They
It's unnerving.
yeah, they tell us that she's schizophrenic, um, because she sees these entities. But when the description of what's going on is there, and then in the house that when it first started, the house we were living in, we were physically and was it hearing? We could hear what was going on. We could hear the footsteps running up and down the hall. When I would get up in the morning, go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, and all the drawers and cabinets in the kitchen would be open. And at first, I thought it was the kids playing a joke or something, but they're crashed out. They're asleep. And when they go to sleep, they're asleep. But then when you hear the giggling, the laughing, the talking, and then when you see an entity of a child that is in the hallway and you think it's your child, and when you look in the room, they're asleep, it's a whole different thing. So we have, especially Nut Lover, she has seen more
We all
than
saw
I
the
have,
same one.
but we all have seen and felt that presence. So ghosts are to me and to us are a real thing. Unfortunately, it's something that a lot of people fear ghosts, and there are some that will fear, and we'll talk about that during my section. But there's not all ghosts are bad. They're not. They're not. Some of them are just in purgatory, and they're trying to figure out why the heck they're still here when they need to go up. But there's a purpose for a lot of them. There's a purpose for them to still be here on Earth, and why we can communicate with them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, so my personal experience, I guess I vaguely remember this, but I told my family that, like, oh, I was talking to Oma and she said that she's going to be okay and not to worry about her. She's going to heaven. Which is very big for a 3-year-old to be able to articulate that, but also like just experiences throughout my whole life, like even my mom. And I always feel so very sad. So, like, there were a couple of houses on base that we lived in, and there were certain nights that, like, you would hear, combat boots are very distinct sound. And I would hear combat boots like walking down the hallway. And I always felt so sad, feeling like I got this feeling that like it was a soldier coming to look for his family. And that makes me so, so sad for him or her. Um, and we've had multiple experiences. Like, we lived in what we call the dead baby house, which sounds so terrible, but that was just like, unfortunately, a soldier had killed one of his
The
twin
article on the
babies.
screen, Jamie. Go ahead, bring it up.
And we moved into the house probably 2 or 3 months after it happened, and our dog wouldn't even sleep upstairs. We could not make it through a full night without him whimpering and losing his mind. He would not let me shower upstairs by myself. He would sit outside the door and whimper until I came out, and then we would have to go downstairs immediately. Got to the point we actually slept in our living room and did not use the upstairs at all in that house. It was so there's definitely, I think the more open people are to the fact that ghosts exist, the more people are going to experience those things.
Mhm.
And I think that makes all the difference as to how people experience them.
Cats. Cats are like between worlds. Like I don't know if you don't have cats, right? You don't have any cats.
No.
Like I don't know. Do you know anybody that has cats? Like you've ever been around cats? You know, they'll sit there and they'll be like staring right over your shoulder because they see things that we can't see, and like it's unnerving. Our cats will just sit there and like look right up there, and they'll kind of move their head, and you'll look, and there's nothing there.
I'm looking for a
But
fly.
they'll just like no, like it's unnerving. It's creepy. Now, what about Ouija boards?
Nope, we ain't good. Nope.
Oh,
On the
I won't
after show,
touch them.
I'll tell you my experience with the Ouija board. I'll tell you after. It's
Sure.
yeah, to this day, I will not touch one because of what happened.
Mm-mm.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'll let you do all the talking.
You're not talking about it. Were you not
No,
listening?
I
Open your
said
ear holes.
I'm
I
gonna
said
let
I
you.
will.
I'm gonna let you talk about it because that no.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
I don't
crazy
blame
night.
ya.
It was a
It's
crazy
all
night for
you,
all people
boo.
involved, but I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about your peoples, or did you have any more to add about ghosts? Because I think everybody in some ways experienced some kind of ghost or phenomena or something they can't explain. Like
Yeah.
felt that cold chill, like someone's walked over your grave, or just seen something out of the corner of your eye and it's gone in a flash. And we've all experienced. I think everybody's experienced something, whether they realize it or not. Because think about how many ghosts are here versus how many people have died.
True.
I mean, we're probably surrounded, don't even know it.
No, all I can picture is a room full of ghosts just staring behind me, sitting.
Watching what you do in your bedroom at night.
Right.
I'm gonna start charging them rent. They better get to step and get some stuff done around here, man. I need help around this house.
Right? Don't look at me. I don't want you to see me right now.
I need Big Brother looking over my shoulder when I read this. Stop talking to me. Stop it.
It doesn't bother me because I think you would feel it, like you feel that fear sometimes that you can't explain, but most of the
Yeah.
time they're just lost spirits. They don't, But then there are some evil ones who I don't think those are really spirits. Those are those are something else entirely, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Are they sectors? Like the malevolent? That's what kind of comes into you, right? Well, I'm not saying demons, but those are there too. But I'll let you talk about that.
We'll be talking about some stuff.
What
So-
you got over there, John?
So the subject I'm going to be talking about is possessions, aka exorcisms. All right, so I've got quite a bit on this one, and I went a lot deeper as I didn't realize how. I mean, we all know about possessions, right? So when you think of possessions, you think of like exorcisms, you think of the exorcist, right? Being possessed by a demon or a devil. So I'm going to kind of dig a little bit into where it originated with, as well as what we as humanity know best. And it starts with, believe it or not, the Bible. So there are exorcisms because of possessions of demons that have taken over a human body. And that started with Jesus. Jesus cast out demons. The first one he originally did was a demon in a man in the synagogue in Capernaum. The way he went about it is he would command the demon out of them versus like to what we think of today is they use like crucifix and be gone with you demon, right? And they splash holy water on them, and they use objects and material objects to try and cast the demon out of them. But what Jesus said, it basically was, I am God, I am the Lord and Savior, and get, for me, I'd be like, get the bleep out of here. You're gone. You're out of here. And that's basically what he did. So he, by the power invested in me as the, Lord Almighty, get out of here, demon. You're gone. Cast out the demon. So, now out of you guys here and the audience there, um, who knows who Mary Magdalene is?
Mary Magdalene?
That's what, didn't I say?
Magdalene, the whore of
Sorry.
Babylon?
Look, there they
Oh, I
are.
did say
They're quick to
Madeline. My
correct.
bad. See,
Mary
quick to
Magdalene,
correct
the
it.
whore of Babylon?
Yes. Did you know that she was possessed by 7 demons? It actually even says in the Bible that she was possessed by 7 demons. And guess who cast all 7 of those demons out? Jesus himself. So, that's something, when you read the Bible, we don't think of demon possessions and what Jesus did. We think of other, baptism stuff. Yes, no lover.
I have a really weird question. So, if she was a whore of Babylon and she had 7 demons in her at the same time, did she charge extra for that?
It's funny because I was thinking it.
You,
I'm going to hell.
wow.
My question. I have a question too.
Okay. Throw it. Throw your dagger at me. Somebody else just threw one with a bunch of money signs on it.
Exactly was Jesus casting it out of her? I mean, he went back 7 times.
This is why we can have nice things.
Y'all realize y'all going to hell.
You laughed. You're going with us.
But we're going first
I'll lead the
class.
way. I'll hold your hand on the way down, because boy, the Lord's about to strike us down pretty deep on this one. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
Y'all look. If you were Catholic, you'd be in a special place tomorrow asking for forgiveness. Oh, so yes, Jesus also, he freed Mary Magdalene from 7 devils. Jesus also casted out demons from a man in a region of Gadara. Believe it or not, I mean, the Bible, not a lot of people, when you read the Bible, you don't think about demon possession. So you don't really go, okay, oh, look, he did this and he did this and he did. He did a lot. And it wasn't just him. It was Apostle Paul in Acts 16:8, commanded demons out of a slave girl, and that he did it in the name of Jesus. He didn't use other things. Jesus and his disciples did these to show control over demonic powers, and sin, being peace, bringing peace and order over the lands. Now, more modern days, we when you think of demon possessions, everybody thinks about the Catholic services, and they think about, oh, if I got to get a demon out, let's call the Catholic services. Yes, no lover.
When Jesus cast out the demons into the pigs, is that where we get devil's ham?
Jamie, if you could put that up there on the screen for me, please. I have no. I,
Is that why I want to make it only hams?
woo, holy hams. Huh. Oh man, y'all killing me. Here I am trying to be serious about exorcisms. Y'all killing me.
Hey, he did cast them into pigs, and I was wondering what happened to like those pigs. Like there's demons, they're demonic pigs just running loose. Like, what happened? Like how?
I
Wait, is that why Is that why pork is the dirtiest meat?
Probably,
Ooh.
yeah. You got that deviled ham, you got that rump roast, you got cholesterol,
Pulled pork.
So why we call them devil's eggs? Deviled eggs.
deviled eggs. I don't know, but like
Anyways,
seriously, like
Because they're
when
addicted.
Jesus cast them out to the deep, did it ever say what happened to those pigs? Like they were just like demonic pigs just running around.
To be honest, when I started looking up exorcism and possessions, and it talked about the Bible, it never talked about the stupid pigs. I'm assuming because nobody cared because they ate the demon pigs after they slayed them and just slit their throats and let them bleed out. Nobody talked about them. I don't know.
So if they ate the pigs, did they ingest the demons? Like what is going on? What is happening here? I have so many questions. I have
We're gonna
so
need a
many
part
questions.
2 just with Q&A.
We,
Oh,
So
we
is that
also-
like, is that how like evil spreads? Is they, one person ate this and they got the demon and they're just kind of going down generation and generation?
So, anyways,
I'm
I honestly don't know. I didn't. Whenever, like I said, when I looked into this, I looked into the discussion of possessions, and it came up with exorcism. It started with talking about the Bible, and never once discussed anything about pigs being taken out. I mean, that's new to me. I'm not used to hearing about animals being possessed by demons. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm sure it
I'm gonna
does
send
because
it to you.
we have seen a lot of animals that would appear to be possessed because they're just absolutely crazy. But we call them just crazy animals. Like what's that? What's that word when they got the foam around their mouth and all that stuff?
Rabies?
Rabies or
Rabies.
something
Rabid.
else. Rabbit. Thank you.
Strange
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
So when they're rabid, does that mean they've got a demon possession? I don't know. I never, fortunately for me, I never got that far. Excuse me. So, but what a lot of people think is that an exorcism and a possession are the same thing. They're not. The exorcism is actually the act of removing the possession. So, like when you see the movie The Exorcist, is not, and I didn't understand. I didn't know this when I grew up. I thought The Exorcist was that devil child on the bed that spit up green pea soup. I thought that was what it meant. The exorcism, it was actually the act of removing. That was the priest that came in. They got thrown out the window. It was the assistant priest that came in. They got the green pea soup, spit all over them. It was the act of removing that demon. So that's what is a misconception that people think that an exorcist or an exorcism is a possession. It's two completely different things. You have a possession and you have an exorcism. And there have been plenty of movies made of exorcisms, and which, because you think of exorcism, they actually go hand in hand with a demon entity that has entered a human soul or entered a human body. Yes, Nut Lover.
I sent it to you.
Thank you. Not. I'll look at it here in a minute.
It goes hand in hand with what you're talking, so you can actually.
So you sent it on me on my telly.
Yeah, I texted you the story of the pigs. It's crazy.
Okay. So Nut Lover has just sent me in the biblical story of Garrison demoniac. What in the world? Oh, Jesus cast demons out, of a man at the request, allowing them to enter a nearby herd of pigs. The demons then cast the entity herd. The demons then cause the entire herd to rush down a steep bank into a lake and drown. The event is recorded in Synoptic Gospel, Matthew 8:28-34, Mark 5:1-20, and Luke 6:26-39. The man Jesus encountered, a man who is possessed by a multitude of demons, referred to as legion. The man is tormented. that he lived among the tombs and is uncontrollable. That when Jesus commands the demons to leave the man, they beg him not to send them into the abyss, a place of torment, but to allow them to enter a herd of pigs feeding nearby. Jesus gives them permission to go. The demons enter the pigs, and the herd rushes violently down a hill into a sea where they drown.
I don't know if the demons drown, but that's crazy, right? The demons begged God not to send them back. Tells you how bad hell is.
Right. The event leads to local townspeople who were Gentile and raised pigs, an unclean animal to Jews, which answers your question, Smacky. What am I missing here? I'm seeing smiles and thumbs up and giggles.
It's really scary to think about. Like the pigs drown, but what happened to the demons? Because I don't think demons drown.
Yeah.
Where did they go?
To
Maybe
Jesus
they're in
didn't send
purgatory.
Jesus didn't
Gentile-
send them back to the abyss. He put them in pigs, and the pigs drowned. So what happened to the demons?
Yeah.
Because it's
I
I
don't
am Legion. There was thousands of demons.
So Gentile raised pigs, an unclean animal to the Jews, and begged Jesus to leave their region, likely due to the loss of their livestock. The man who was healed, however, became a follower. And unfortunately, it cuts off right there. Became a follower who something. I'm assuming believed in God and Jesus. So it was cut off. But yeah, no, that was not anything that came up when I was talking about possessions. I guess because I was really focused on the possession of human beings, not the possession of animals. So there's that.
They were in a person, though. Jesus cast him out of that person into pigs.
Well,
Is that where the demons went? Are they our politicians? Did they travel here? I bet that's what happened. They went upstream, and now they're here, and that's where our politicians come from.
That's solid. I like that.
Wow.
I like that logic.
I'm leaving it at. I'm going to leave it at that with that. So the more modern day exorcisms of possessions. This is where it starts off with the New Testament focus on a spiritual warfare, such as putting on what's called the armor of God, which is Ephesians 6:10-18, and it's basically the true faith. Unless you have time, excuse me. What the frick did I just write? Jamie, erase a little bit of what I just said because I don't know what the hell my writing is here.
Okay, time out.
See, I had this all set up for last week, and I had it all planned out. Now I forgot my train of thought. Go ahead.
I have Barbie crying. Look at your camera. Okay, now move your head closer to your guitar case. About center of your headrest. Okay. So
You
the
have
way
horns
were-
behind you.
No, the way he was sitting before, his headrest looked like a penis, and it was going.
Well,
through
look
his
behind him. He's got
fucking ears.
horns. When he puts his head, put your head back. You have
It's
horns
the
behind you.
Texas
What is that?
Longhorns. Yeah, I know. This is a Texas
I
Longhorns
saw that
flag.
part.
When you put
But
your
his
head there, you have
headrest-
horns. You're talking about demon possession. Oh my God.
See, I didn't even catch the horns. I was looking at the penis going through his ear. There it is.
Demons do be playing.
I think you
It's-
muted me.
I'm getting
Oh.
I'm getting ear fucked.
No, he just wasn't thinking. He was processing.
It's not as fun as it sounds, is it?
Okay, now I know what my
You
train
good?
of thought was on this. Okay, so
Okay, cut all that.
Jamie cut
Cut
all that.
You're good to
Cut
go.
all the bullshit that just happened about my ear being fucked. So when you're doing an exorcism, you want to make sure that you actually believe in Jesus Christ, because if you don't, it's not going to work. So do not attempt to perform an exorcism like the son of Sceva in Acts 19:13-6, who tried to use the name Jesus in the attempt to do an exorcism, but because he didn't truly believe in Jesus, it didn't work. Matter of fact, the demon entered him, so it backfired. It did leave the person he was trying to do an exorcism on. The demon said, "Oh yeah, you're mine now." So it took him over. So yeah, didn't work out so well. Okay, so and then the next thing I have is a part of this is when we hear about exorcisms nowadays, we hear about they're using holy water and splashing holy water on them, which we talked earlier. They use the crucifix and they make statements. They have the Catholics have their rosary, where so they sit there, they read, they have they memorize all kinds of prayers for every single bead that is on that necklace, and they use those and they sit there and they say these.
It's the rosary.
They rosary. That's what I said. Is that what
No,
I
you
said?
said it's a necklace. It's not a necklace. You don't wear
But
it.
I did say, okay, well, if you don't wear it, then it looks like a necklace. It's a rosary. I did say rosary, and there's beads, a lot of beads on it, and every bead has a prayer. And Nut Lover
Hail
can
Marys
testify.
and Our Fathers.
Yeah, Nut Lover was a Roman Catholic.
I
She
was
had to
raised Catholic.
memorize. She was raised Catholic, so she knows. I don't know if she still knows them or remembers them, but every bead had a prayer, and you had to memorize it. And so during these exorcisms, they would pull out their rosary and they would use the cross that was on there, and they would say these rosaries, and they would try and cast out the demons utilizing these. And that is based because they are not truly they are believers in Jesus Christ, but they have not been actually ordained by Jesus Christ to cast out the demons, as Paul was when he was walking in faith with Jesus. Um, so now, the last thing I will discuss when it comes to, because it is something that we see a lot of movies, and there's been movies that have keep coming out. There's one that just came out, one coming out next year. There are a lot of movies called The Exorcist. Matter of fact, the very first movie called The Exorcist was created in 1973, same year I was born. So the first one was in 73. Then
Coincidence?
I think not.
you're about to get kicked. And 73, then 77 was part two. 1990 was part three. So it went from 77 to 90. And the reason for that was because there was a lot that happened that, because, not necessarily social media, but the media, the news got a hold of, and we're saying that people were dying because they were in the movie, and all these creepy things were happening, electrocution and fires and stuff, all because they made this movie. Listen, a lot of the people that were in these movies that were being made were older people. Most of them died of old age, heart attack, stroke. There was a fire that did break out on set on one of them, but that was because a bird flew into the electrical system. And when it flew into the electrical system, it started a fire, and that fire burned the entire stage down. But the creepy part of 1973's fire that did happen is the entire set burned down except for one room. The room where they were doing the cast, where the demon possession and everything was actually being viewed. So, what's her name? Blair or something. I thought I had it written down.
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair, yeah. So the room where Linda Blair and all the actors and actresses that were in that one room didn't get touched. which is really creepy when you think of the entire set. It's a multi-million-dollar set burned down, except for the one room they were doing the recording of the movie on. So that is kind of creepy to me. That's very creepy. But everything else, all the other things were just coincidence. It wasn't because of the movie. It wasn't because of what they did or what they said or trying to do some enchantment of raising the dead or anything. It was just total coincidence. So in 1990 was part 3. 2004 was Exorcist the Beginning. 2005 was Dominion. 2010 was The Last Exorcism. 2023 was Believer. And now in 2026, if it happens, and right now it started and has stopped and has started and has stopped. I don't know if it started again. But as of right now, it is currently canceled to make the new 2026 Exorcist. So those movies are what has really sparked the attention of everything come around Halloween time. Everybody loves something that scares them and so forth. Now, did any of these movies actually were they enticed by any truth behind them? Actually, yes. There were a couple movies. For example, Annabelle, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Rosemary's Baby, and Amityville Horror. Those movies were based on actual events. To whether or not they kept them to the truth of them all is somewhat twisted. Obviously, they're gonna make them a little more dramatic than they need to be, or maybe less because of what happened. But they were based on actual events that did happen because of possessions, and then the exorcism that followed. Other movies that did have something to do with a little bit of truth was The Conjuring, Insidious, Evil Dead, Night Swim, Devil's Candy. I think there was one more, but I don't recall what it
Night
is.
of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead. Thank you. Yes. So all
I don't
those
think I've ever
movies.
heard of Devil's Candy.
It I had actually look up Devil's Candy, and that's actually a rather recent one. I think it was 22 or 23 that one came out. And it actually, to be honest, I was curious to watch it myself, but it was something to be said. So basically, that's all it really is. So just so you understand, there's a difference between an exorcism and a possession. Possession is when a demon takes control of the body, and an exorcism when they try and remove that demon from the body. And that's what makes a great movie and enough to scare the ever-living crap out of you. And yes, it is real. Nut Lover? The
The
floor is
Exorcism
yours.
of Emily Rose was a twisted movie, and that was based on a real story. But what they did to a girl who was mentally challenged, they thought she was possessed, and they did horrible, horrible things to her
Yeah.
until she died. It was awful.
Yeah, it was atrocious. If you don't know about it and you don't want to watch the movie, actually read about it before watching the movie, because you will learn more about the exorcism of Emily Rose, which will actually probably scare you more than watching the movie. It was really horrifyingly bad.
Okay, I did a document on this one. So mine is vampires. I'm Team Edward. Thank you. So, I've always loved vampires. Like ever since I was a little kid, they scared me. And then my very, very favorite vampire movie is The Lost Boys. The first one. I don't like the new ones; they were stupid. But the first one was my very favorite one. But so a vampire is an undead creature from folklore that sustains itself by drinking the life force or blood of the living. Modern popular portrayals often depict them as charismatic, pale-skinned beings with fangs, pale because they're undead but dead. While traditional folklores also portray them as monstrous figures who were once human and are often susceptible to sunlight, garlic, and specific forms of destruction like a stake through the heart. So let's see here. This actually goes back to a long. Let me see here. I'm going to kind of go back to the first. I'm going to
You're
skip
muted.
around on here, but let's see here. So it actually started like the ancient mythological. Actually, it was in 1500 BC in Egyptian mythology. The warrior goddess Shakhemet, I don't know if I said that right, was sent by the sun god Ra to punish humanity. Her bloody slaughter became so widespread that Ra tricked her into drinking red-dyed beer to quell her bloodlust. So that's kind of where that one started. And then there was like in Mesopotamia, a lot of stuff happened there, huh, Barbie? A lot of stuff happened back in that day. They speak of tales of female demons like Litlu and Loshimatu, who feed on the blood of children and preyed on pregnant women. Inspired the later Hebrew legend of Lilith, which is the first female demon. And then, like Greek mythology, they have people that were drinking blood. Features the child devouring monster Lamia, who was cursed to kill the children of others after the goddess Hera slew her own offspring. And the earliest known written reference to vampires, an Old Russian term Upir, dated back to AD 1047 AD. So a long time ago.
So
And
I just
then,
want to point out, you guys may not have gotten werewolves, but women are tearing up the vampire world, eating people's
oh yeah,
children. Come on.
we don't turn into dogs, we turn into monsters. So, but yeah,
because I was muted, I didn't get to say it when it came time, but I'm going to throw it in now since we have a second. It doesn't matter whether you're a human or a vampire. You put a stake through the heart, you're going to kill him.
Pretty
I
much,
was
yeah.
thinking that.
Let's see, they're saying that's like one of the only ways to kill a vampire is like a stake through the heart, like just shooting well, beheading and a stake to the heart. I mean, you behead anything, you're gonna kill them. So let's see here, and then one of the very first ones, and people were saying was Vlad the Impaler, but there's actually some other ones. Let me see here. Vlad the Impaler from History.com. Let's see, was actually from 14. So Bram Stoker's, they think that Bram Stoker's Count Dracula, I don't know if you've ever seen it, it's a really great movie. Vlad Dracula, also known as Vlad the Impaler, was born in Transylvania, Romania. That's kind of where this legend started. Somewhere between 1448 and 1477. They describe him as a just yet brutally cruel ruler who violently fought off the Ottoman Empire. He earned his nickname because his favorite way to kill his enemies was to impale them on a wooden stake. So according to legend, they called him Vlad Dracula, enjoyed dining amidst his dying victims and dipping his bread in their blood. And that's kind of where they get the nasty as it is. So that's where they kind of got that. And then there was like War Grado. After his death in 1656, it was recorded that he was like a warlock, terrorized his village for 16 years. According to legend, he would rise from his grave, knock on doors, and sexually harass his widow. Villagers eventually exhumed and decapitated his corpse in 1672.
Damn.
Is she sure
And then
he
there's
just didn't move
I
out?
mean, that's what he gets for sexually harassing her. He got decapitated.
it's dark. And then Mercy Brown is like right around the time of she's in the 1800s, but she was known. She might actually rival Count Dracula as a notorious vampire. Mercy was a real person. She lived in Exeter, Rhode Island, and was the daughter of George Brown, a farmer. After George lost many family members, including Mercy in the late 1800s to tuberculosis, his community used Mercy as a scapegoat to explain their death. It was common at that time to blame several deaths on the family of the undead. Bodies of each dead family member were often exhumed in search for a sign of vampirism. When Mary's body was exhumed, it didn't display severe decay, not surprising since her body was placed in an above-ground vault during New England winter. The townspeople accused her of being a vampire and making her family sick from her icy grave. They cut out her heart, burned it, and then fed her the ashes to her sick brother.
Damn.
Ew,
Oh,
that's
people are
disgusting.
brutal.
Also, really quick, I just need to say, because you said tuberculosis the other
You leave the
day,
tuberculosis out of this.
Uh-oh.
Sean was reading about how we had an outbreak in the next county over, except he said, there's some weird outbreak of tuberculosis.
Do they still test for TB? Is that still a thing? Like that little bubble under your skin?
Yep.
You leave my tubular closest alone, okay?
Tubular. Yo, bro, that's just tubular, bro.
I
You
read
get a
it
shot
confidently,
tomorrow,
too.
bro.
But ew, how are you going to feed somebody their
Yeah, that's
ashes?
gross.
That's
Yeah,
nasty.
people were brutal because I mean, they really thought vampirism was a thing, because people were pale. A lot of times they were really sick, and their
That's
body
because
was,
people
they
were
were really anemic and they were dying. And so they were like, oh, and they were saying that people were rising from their graves. So, I mean, just,
People
when you're sick,
today still
sometimes you
think there's
hallucinate.
vampires for real.
yeah, but
Well, there are
back
real
then
vampires.
back then women were taking cyanide to look paler.
Hmm.
Today
They're
they
putting,
just stay in their room with the lights off playing video games. Same thing.
they put arsenic in their eyes to make them, glisten. But it says, are vampires real? Real vampires. Although modern science has silenced the vampire fears of the past, people who call themselves vampires do exist. They're normal seeming people who drink small amounts of blood and perhaps misguided effort to stay healthy. Communities of self-identified vampires can be found on the internet in cities and towns around the world. So if you've ever looked those up, they're like little covens. It's odd, but I mean, they're doing their thing. They're not hurting nobody. Let's see, they drink. Some of them will drink right from a person, from willing donors. I don't think that's safe, but
That
yeah.
no, mm-mm.
And then there is a man. His name is William Sharp, and this was in the Northeastern Global News. But he was talking about, like, why do we love vampires so much? Like, what is the fascination, the obsession with vampires? It says there are few concepts that have endured as long as the culture is in our culture, as long as vampires. And right now, fans of these fictional bloodsuckers are eating well. From sex, from Antichrist to Interview with the Vampire, to the whole Twilight, to just there's so many of them. Those are like the big ones.
Hold on.
Shadows, Nosferatu.
Hello. Stop for a second. You sound like a robot right now, so just give me a second. Let me make sure the recording's okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
Say something. No, lover.
Something.
Yeah, something's going on your side. 'Cause you say something, nothing happens, then all of a sudden you say something. So
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It was just you were going, and then it was just. It sounded like you're in a garbage
Could just
can.
me. I start talking really, really fast, and my mic can't keep up. Let's see here. It says
We'll go with that.
with with fangs, bats, and blood dominating our screen. It's worthy asking, why are we so obsessed with vampires, and what does it say about us that we can't get enough of these monsters? And it says there's always a dark side of us. For Freud said, when you get some kind of entertainment like a movie or a really good book, it speaks to that part of us that is being suppressed, repressed, or denied. We can watch the monster go around and do what it wants to whoever it wants and literally just suck the marrow of life right out of everybody. Sharp argues that vampires always represented ideas, repressed desire, sexuality, control that are both taboo and appealing, ideas about relationships that have not always been discussed openly. It's not a coincidence that the Nosferatu focuses on the idea of what happens when women are forced to repress their sexuality in positions as an obsessive lover. So there's that. Now, there is one thing I found, and we'll kind of go over some of the movies too, but like the whole Twilight obsession, it started, what is it, back in 2010.
2007.
Yeah, well, it says it started in 2010, then it kind of died off with my daughter's generation, and then now it's like revamping itself, and it's just the whole idea of the whole like romantic fantasy of being loved, of like eternal love, never ending, immortality. It's just, I like Twilight. I wouldn't say I'm like an obsessive fan, but I do like the movies.
Didn't you read the books first?
No, Taylor did.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually have one that was pretty dark, and I remember I was talking to you about it, John, the other day, about what I found about vampires, which is, to me, was really fascinating. It says the legend's origin and details, God's curse. After Judas hung himself, God cursed his soul to never find rest, forcing him to become the first vampire to punish him for his betrayal. Eternal punishment. Judas was condemned to walk the earth in darkness, fearing the sun and forever needing to feed on the blood of living humans to sustain his unholy existence. In the symbolic punishments, silver, the 30 pieces of silver Judas received for his betrayal, are said to have become the source of torment, burning him at its touch, which is why silver is a weapon against vampires. The aversion to the crucifix is a symbolic punishment for his betrayal of Christ. Vampire lineage. Some variations of the legend state that Judas's curse was passed down to his generations, who are also said to be marked with red hair, which is where they get the redheads have no soul. Let's see here. Yeah. But I mean, that I just thought that was really, really fascinating. It says the legend also appeared in modern fiction and lore, sometimes specifying events like Judas's suicide by hanging, which is depicted with the pouch of silver coins falling from his pocket. The legend of Judas becoming a vampire is not part of any official religion document, as a purely mythical folklore explanation of original vampires. And it said that only Judas or the original vampire can turn other vampires. That's why you don't see vampires running amok. So I thought it was fascinating.
So what we get out of that, all you redheads out there, how
Hey, leave my
dare
niece
you?
out of this, okay?
Do y'all have a favorite movie? Like, there's the Underworlds are good.
Underworld.
The Lost Boys for me, but I also love Van Helsing. And then From Dusk Till Dawn, that was gory and I loved it.
I wouldn't say I have a favorite movie, but I will say The Vampire Diaries and Legacies, phenomenal.
I love The Vampire Diaries. We've watched it a few times. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer, huge fan, huge fan. I've seen them. I own them all. I've seen them all like 3 or 4 times. But I've always loved vampires.
But I will stick to my guns. You put a stake through anybody's heart, they're going to die. You cut off their head, they're going to die. And you shoot them full of lead, they're going to die. It's over.
I mean,
Excuse me.
They
It's
were
over.
saying the
Fair.
only way to kill a vampire, because you can't just, shooting a vampire is not going to do anything.
So I gotta
Yeah,
ask
but
this
with silver.
question because my oldest asked me this. So if you're drinking blood for nutrition as a vampire to get your life energy, you're gonna have to drain like 15 people a day.
I don't know. It depends. I mean, because
Unless you're
some
in
of
the
them
States,
say
and
that
then you get all your
vampires.
calories from one, but you know.
That explains the blood banks.
Oh, that's
And there's
true,
different
too.
legends. Some of them state that 1 drop of blood can sustain them. Some people, they have to drain them dry. Some people can substitute blood and food, some vampires. So it just really depends on what lore you're reading.
Some of them can drink the blood of animals and survive off that.
Yeah.
And some of them
They
just
call
are
them
sparkly.
vegetarians. I love me a sparkly
Take the risk.
vampire. I do love me I love me a sparkly man.
I'm just gonna point out, no real guy would have fought over her.
No.
Dumb as a box of rocks. Not really much to look at. No personality.
Bella.
Yeah.
They could have used
But
any bum from the street to know better. Just saying.
Vampires will always be my favorite.
Blade was probably my favorite, to be honest. If you're gonna give me a vampire action movie, Blade's probably by far my favorite.
And I'd say I do like the Blade. I like
Never
Blade
saw it.
too.
Who? Smacky?
Oh, I never saw it.
The ones with Wesley Snipes. There's like 4 of
Yep.
them. They're really
I know.
good. They're really sarcastic and funny.
I just pissed off BBG.
The Underworlds are
friends.
really, really good too. That last one, we have a thing in our house. People are like the first. I think the last one, Blood Wars, is the best to me.
It's because we're a decade apart, so BBG knows all the old movies.
Have you seen The Lost Boys? Greatest
No.
vampire movie ever made.
Never even heard.
I will
of it.
die on that hill.
First one
Oh
was
my
good.
god, you have to see it.
First
Yeah,
one
the
was
first.
good.
It's a classic. It's amazing.
But second one was just all they did. They did it for the gore.
It was just gore. It was just really gore. From Dusk Till Dawn. Come on, that was what Quentin
garbage.
Tarantino. Oh, it is so gory. Just bodies blowing up, blood everywhere. It's great.
Heads
It's
rolling.
classic. It's classic. Well, it's classic Quentin Tarantino. I'm pretty sure is it Quentin Tarantino or Wes Craven? Who did
Craven, isn't it?
Dusk Till Dawn?
I don't know. There's a lot of vampire movies. There
It
are
has
a
George
lot.
Clooney in it.
There,
Let's see who did it.
and back on what I was talking about, I forgot to mention that there are over 1,000 known movies made on exorcisms.
Jeez Louise.
I'm gonna say Hotel Transylvania. That's a good one.
Good cartoon. It's cute.
You know what's a great ghost movie?
Ghost.
Casper.
I was gonna say. I knew she was going
Okay.
there. We just watched it.
So Quentin Tarantino actually wrote From Dusk Till Dawn. It was actually directed by Robert Rodriguez, but I knew Tarantino was in there. So it's a Tarantino movie. It's fabulous if you haven't seen it. Van Helsing. Love Van Helsing.
Had his moments.
Oh, come on. It was awesome. When him and Dracula fight at the end, werewolf and yeah, for some reason werewolves and vampires have never gotten along through like any books or anything you read. They've always been like mortal enemies, yet they both need each other to survive kind of thing. It's very weird.
Why are there
Like a
no
symbiotic
fat
relationship.
vampires? Like every one of them got to be like the sexy, got a 6-pack, freaking hardcore.
Because
They have to
only
lure their
drink blood.
victims in.
No, I can't. Why can't he be like a 400-pound dude just flapping his wings around, going and landing on
Because you
top
have
of
to
them,
be able to be
splat 'em,
fast and in shape to get your victims. If you're sitting there huffing and puffing like a cop that's
Listen,
eating
you
too
just
many
wait
donuts,
outside
no
the
one's,
bar
you're
when
not
the
going to
bimbo
get your
comes
victim,
out.
man.
You grab them and suck them dry and throw them on the ground and fly away or roll
Dad
away.
bods are in. I'm just saying.
Thank you. See,
Bearded
big
dad
dudes
bods
got
are
to
in.
eat too. No, but for real, I mean, every movie there is, every vampire, a girl or guy, doesn't matter. They are like this
That's part of the sex
dead,
allure. That's
sexy,
remember they're like
gorgeous 6-pack.
that's how they
Can't
like
touch
lure their
this.
victims is with the sexual desires and everything. That's kind of like the vampire lore. Like, and
It-
movies are always good
If
looking.
I was a vampire with as big as I am, I'd have to have that like beer goggles on. There you go, girl. Check me out.
Really?
Beer goggles.
Really?
Yeah.
You're out there getting chicks, huh?
If I
You don't fuck
said
up.
it again, if I was a vampire at this 300 and blah blah blah.
So as a vampire, you're not going to turn me into a vampire. You're going to let me go, and you're just going to go out
No,
chasing.
I need to make
chicks,
sure that
huh?
I need to make sure that everything on the outside looks normal. Like, you know, everything's a real deal. I got real kids. I got a real wife. You know, and at night while you're asleep, I just somehow magically make my way out the window like Santa Claus and go get my blood on and beer goggle somebody to death.
I just
Oh,
want
let's
to
leave
point
with
out
this.
that
You're asleep
every-
snoring, and I'm awake. So
I just want to point out every bat in a vampire movie can perfectly navigate itself and get out. Have you ever seen a bat caught in a house?
Mm. They hit
There ain't no
everything
vampire going through it.
they hit.
So shifters. So vampires are shifters too.
Listen, my
There was that John Candy
My-
movie where they're in a cabin and they were chasing the bat.
bro, my dad, uncle, and grandfather chased a bat in my house when I was little with tennis rackets back and forth at the top and the bottom of the stairs.
So we're gonna say the vampires, they have the looks, but realistically they have nothing going on inside their skull because they can't.
That's
fly
not true. Like if
anywhere.
you like a lot of the lore, a lot of them are like because they're immortal, they live forever. A lot of them are like tend to be very, very rich and stuff. Because I mean, if you live hundreds of years,
They've had plenty
course
of
you're
time
gonna
to
be rich.
practice. They might have been really like dumb as a box of rocks when they first became a vampire,
When
but
they
over the
started.
thousands of years, they've learned how to freaking figure it all out.
makes you wonder: do they live among us? Do they?
Yeah, the young ones are the ones that get stuck in people's houses.
Get hit by tennis rackets.
So you learn. You learn by
Gonna
your
carry them
failures.
rabies.
Well, I tell you what. So we've had four very different subjects this evening. If you were hoping to see this before Halloween, tricks on you. Didn't make it, but it does. It didn't have to.
Spooky season all year long.
Yeah,
The
we
common cold claims
this is-
another one.
it comes summertime, there'll be another, possibly another exorcism. It's all about the fear factor of it all. So that's what it really comes down to. So ghosts and werewolves and exorcisms and vampires, they're all things that we all think about, we all know about, we all watch and learn. And we all giggle or scream or holler. We dump our popcorn on the ground or what have you. But when it all comes down to it, do your studying, and enjoy the movies. but just remember there are some things in this world that are real. So from two couples and one podcast, we wish you
Happy Christmas
guys
season.
a happy Halloween afterwards, and we will put out at least one, maybe two more videos before Christmas. I make no promises because we never know when a vampire is going to suck our blood dry. So with that
Hey,
being
disclaimer:
said,
don't let people you don't know into your house.
don't say
You
yes.
never know.
And we will see you
That's
guys
how
right back
babies are.
here. The next video. Anybody else got anything else to say before I say goodbye? No.
It's Christmas.
With
Are we
that being
live?
said, yeah, we live. Bye, y'all.